what's up in Happy Mental Push Up Monday, baby. We here. If this is your first time joining, my name is Andrea Fitzgerald. I'm an author, a speaker, an educator, and also a person really obsessed with personal growth and development. So each week we get in the gym and we do our mental push-ups because the most challenging yet rewarding work that we will ever do is on ourselves. Now, you may be wondering, our scene is a little bit different. We don't see the Fitzgerald Grizzlies jersey in the background. And today this car deserves a jersey as well. Because y'all, this car, they took me a long way last weekend. And I just want to share it with you. So, last week, I went to one of the best conferences that I have ever been to. Like, oh my gosh, it was absolutely amazing. But getting there was not easy, guys. Because I want to let you guys know that my beauty here, we have been riding with no AC for 2 summers. Yes, that's right. And so when I decided I was going to this conference, it was in Atlanta, and I said to myself, that's going to be a long way to go without any AC. So I call over to the Firestone. I'm like, okay, let's get my car looked at. And they were like, okay, come in on Tuesday. So I come in on Tuesday. They're like, oh my gosh, no, actually, we're too backed up. Can you come back on Wednesday? So I go back on Wednesday. I get in there, and he gets a chance to look at my car. He gives me a call about 2 or 3 hours later, and he says, yeah, Miss Fitzgerald, we got a problem here. This thing is going to cost $7,000. Because it's a hybrid, it's going to be some other things we got to do. It would be very different if it was just a regular car. So I was like, is there anything, you know how sometimes the mechanic can put some stuff together just to rig it together? He was like, no, we can't do that for you, Miss Fitzgerald. This we rolling on. So I was like, I got to get to this conference. And I started looking on Amazon. I say, okay, well, let's see. What do people usually put in their car if they don't have AC? So I look on there, they have these little fans. But the fans, I see they're not going to get there in time because I needed to leave the very next day. So then I go to AutoZone after I go pick up my car, and I see that they have these other type of fans, you know. And so I asked the guy, I say, are these pretty good? He's like, yeah, they're pretty good. So I buy this fan, but then I go to Walmart and I get another fan because I was like, I just need to make sure, just in case that one don't work, that I got some extra little air that I can get. Because, and mind you guys, we're in the middle of a heat advisory. Like right now I'm outside, this is majorly uncomfortable. It's hot. But so I get home, I try to hook my fan up, I put it on there, and then at first I roll the windows up and I try to ride in the car just to see, like, okay, is this kind of like AC? It was still hot. I was like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it. So I roll the window down and I still ride with my fan, and it starts to feel like a little bit of air. It actually feels like I got a little AC in the car. So I end up taking that strategy, and my other little fan I bought, I didn't even need it. So it actually, the trip down there, I mean, it was hot. Now, you know the thing about when you don't have AC, when it starts raining, you got to roll your windows up. You burn up in that thing. So it ended up being an okay trip. It only rained once, so I was alright. But I made it. And I was so glad that I went to this conference because this conference was life-changing. But from going through all those different obstacles to get to that conference and to walk away with information, like, there were a couple things that I learned from that. And so I want to share those things with you today. I think the first thing that I learned was don't stop at hard. I think that I easily could have been like, well, I guess I can't go to this conference because, you know, my car, I don't have no AC. You know, and my sister and my dad, they suggested I get a rental, but I was like, yeah, I actually don't want to spend the money like that. So I could have stopped at that, but I didn't. I ended up doing it anyway. And so I think something that I've recently learned since I've been in Me University is that a lot of times that it gets hard, like we feel resistance from ourselves, we feel resistance from other people, and so we just be like, okay, well, I guess it doesn't work. And that's what I've done a lot of times when things have gotten challenging for me. That if it feels too hard, and I just be like, oh, it just don't work, so I don't try. But what I've been learning as I've been exploring this and continuing to challenge myself with certain things, particularly around emotional intelligence, I'm starting to see that some of these things actually work. It's just being willing to get through the discomfort of hard. Hard is absolutely necessary to help us grow. And then another thing that I learned was choosing discomfort over comfortability. I think that what happens when we are uncomfortable, when we choose discomfort, it expands our capacity. Like, who knew that I could ride in a car with no AC for 6 hours to Atlanta, Georgia? Who knew? But I did it. And it showed me that that it's a lot more in me than I can even see. So whenever you feel like uncomfortable, or you saying like, like we said, before, like, oh, this is hard, maybe I should stop, continue to choose discomfort over comfort, because that's really how we expand our capacity. Like, it's so much more inside of us than we can even envision, besides the things that we often think. Like, there's so much more inside of us. So continue to choose discomfort over comfort. I think the last thing that I learned was there is always a way to get something done. I think that sometimes the path to get there is maybe not what we expect, but in the end, it tends to work out for us. But there's always a way. Even if you see 4, 5, 6 obstacles, like there were several. The AC man went there. They said it's impossible to fix. One of the fan worked, and then it was too hot, then the rubber windows down, then it worked again. So, there are always going to be obstacles. We get to decide how we respond to those. But just continue to find a way. If one way doesn't work, try another one. But there's always a way. So I will close out with this, and let me go ahead and do it, because y'all, it's been thundering and lightning. But listen, we gonna get this message, y'all. Alright, so I'll close out with this. Most things seem impossible until they are done. Who would have thought that I would ride in a car for 6 hours, no AC, to this conference? I needed to be at that conference, and I'm glad that I did, because being in that room, I was introduced to people I didn't even know that I needed to meet. There were messages that I need to hear that have transformed my thinking, therefore that are going to transform my life. I needed to be in that room. Where is it that you're supposed to be? Where is that thing that you know that you are called and sent here to do? Or the thing maybe you've been putting off? You may think in your mind, this is impossible. I don't even know if this can even happen. It's definitely possible, because you have the vision, you have the dream, and it's up to you to make that happen, because most things seem impossible until they're actually done. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Get out there this week and do those mental push-ups. And I want you to drop in the comments, what is one thing that you need to do for yourself? What is that one thing? Find a way to get it done this week. Do not be stopped by the obstacles. We know obstacles. We know they're coming. It's all about how we respond. And I know you're that excellent that you're going to make it happen. So please, if this video add value, share, subscribe, like, all of that. And as I always say, be bold, be brave, and most importantly, friends, be you. And I'm out.